Hey, here we go with this one.
Speeding and...
All lined up. Brand new season, brand new dawn for Formula One.
I'm looking at the brand new car for the #1 team of the world's most popular car racing sport, Formula One, with the current world champion driver, Max Verstappen.
Would you like to come and see the car?
Yes.
And we're gonna show you what it takes to build and drive some of the fastest and most expensive cars in the world. Because the thing is, these aren't just cars. Think of them instead as epic group science projects where 10 teams all fight to be first. And on every team, there are hundreds of people spending millions of dollars, all working together to push technology to its limit. In this video, I'm gonna give you rare access into the factory in England where they build these cars, and into a garage in Bahrain where they race them.
This is Formula One Cars Explained.
Describing it as an epic group science project is so fitting. I watched another of Cleo's videos a while back on Formula One, and that was more of an explainer / introduction. It was really good. I'll link it for you in the description for anybody who's interested. But I know the majority of you watching already know what Formula One is. And the last time we watched a video on it, I was asking for a recommendation that would explain the engineering or manufacturing of the cars. I also want to know what the pit crew does, or how exactly they work. They're so quick and graceful. How are they trained? So a few of you let me know that this video is probably what I'm looking for, or at least the second half of it, from what I understand. Thankfully, she has it sectioned off by a chapter. I'm going straight to how the F1 car is built.
A Formula One car. It's time to see how they actually make it. As every team works on designing their cars, they're constantly testing those designs in computer simulations, in physical rigs that mimic a moving car, and in big wind tunnels. One of my favorite details is because Formula One limits how much teams are allowed to test full-size cars in a wind tunnel, they build these little 60% scale versions of their cars and test those. One reason that Formula One cars are so light and fast and strong is that basically every part of the car that you can see is made of a material 10 times stronger than steel, but half the weight. Carbon fiber.
Why do they limit how often a team can test their car in a wind tunnel? Is that a cost thing, or maybe it's a sustainability thing? But you gotta love the ingenuity of making a teeny tiny replica.
If I had a piece.
Yeah. Do you have a piece of carbon fiber? Whoa, cool.
I admit this is quite a substantial block.
Can I hold it? How heavy is this? Oh, it's heavier than I thought.
You can see the structure if you look on the side. So that's when it's layered up.
Why is this material used so often throughout the car?
With its strength to weight ratio being so good, it means that you can make it extremely light whilst it retaining a lot of structure and a lot of strength. So if you hold it up, you can actually see light through it there. So it does have a sort of fabric quality to it.
Woven carbon.
To create the carbon fiber parts that they need, teams manufacture patterns in the right shapes and then lay down carbon fiber cloth, sometimes in 100 layers.
Whoa.
Then they suck all the air out and shove them into basically a pressure cooker to squeeze the layers together with resin. Then they cut and measure those carbon fiber pieces and other metal parts with huge programmable machines.
It looks like it's getting a milk bath.
The whiteness is down to the additive that gets added to the water to make sure it doesn't rust the machine.
I don't know if you can fully appreciate how big this is, but there are dozens of these boxes just in this massive room in front of us. All of the parts for the RB20, the new Red Bull car, are being manufactured in this room right now in these white boxes.
Am I incorrect in thinking that some mainstream cars are also made out of carbon fiber? Could be completely wrong. I have no idea where I got that information. I used to have a carbon fiber phone case, but then learned that it supposedly ruins the signal. I didn't notice anything, but I don't have that case anymore either. And also those tungsten rings, or they're not always tungsten, the black bands that are becoming more popular with men. I know some are made out of carbon fiber, and then I almost said surfboard, but I may be confusing that with fiberglass. What other common things are made out of carbon fiber?
Pretty cool. Any chance I can look in?
I can imagine so, yes. I think it's more about not getting it on camera.
For the metal parts of the car, which kind of metal they use depends on what they need it to do.
Okay, so this is aluminum, or aluminium as he's calling it. So this is a lot of what the car is made out of.
We use aluminium throughout the build of the car for certain parts and components.
Okay.
Which is generally light, fairly strong.
Do you want to try that one? It is quite...
Holy
it's
cow!
heavy.
It's hard to show visually how different these objects are, except maybe how much I'm trying to hold. I could probably do 20 reps like this until my arm fell off. Like, this is very heavy.
So that's dense cement, which is an alloy which we use to add weight to the car. We sometimes add weight into the car when the driver isn't up to weight, so we have to have a minimum weight of the car.
I didn't know
So we'll
that.
use tiny strips of this throughout the car to bring the car up to weight.
There are thousands of pieces that make up a Formula One car, and after they're designed and molded and machined, some of them need to get painted. The paint job on a Formula One car is a big deal to fans, especially the moment that it's released and they see the car for the first time. And teams spend a lot of effort to design something that's gonna look beautiful. But the paint isn't just to be pretty, it's gotta go fast. For example, a lot of the sponsor logos that you'll see on these cars aren't stickers, because even that tiny little edge would create unwanted drag. They paint the logos on. Watching these cars get built, it's just astonishing to me how much detail and design and effort goes into the finished car that we see on track.
It's crazy that they're going so fast that something as inconsequential to me as a sticker can create drag and lead to them having more time. And then I think of that speed and the G-force, and now it makes so much more sense why the drivers have to do those neck exercises to get thick-necked.
Now we're headed to the most secret room yet, where this team is building their new engine.
This is one of the world's most advanced engine development facilities. This isn't just an engine, this is a Formula One engine.
Right now, Red Bull buys engines for their cars from Honda, but that's about to change. In 2026, Red Bull's cars will use their own custom engines that they're working on right now, and we're about to be one of the first to go see it.
So this building here wasn't here. Two years ago in June was our first engine. And when you see the workshops, you'll see what we've been doing. It's pretty impressive.
Why does it matter to build a Formula One engine yourself?
Control and the time between the chassis and the engine is paramount, really. You know, you have a better working together, your aerodynamics and everything, all that side of it is the way to win.
This team's big bet is if they invest a ton of money and time into a custom engine, they can eke a little bit more speed and control out of their car, and ultimately win more races.
Can you hear me? Okay. So what's happening right now is I'm in the super secret engine room, but we can't actually show anything close to the new engine. But I'm standing in front of the real Formula One engines. I just can't show them to you. People are gonna love it. They're gonna hate me. Okay, so this is the engine that I can show you. We can show you. And the reason why little bits are covered up is that those are the secret parts that you're not allowed to see. If I'm working on a Formula One team, working on an engine, what is the goal? Is it maximum power, smallest size? Is it light?
Power, you want as much power as possible because the driver will ask for more power. Now, even if he's got the most powerful engine, he will want more.
To understand why this engine is so cool, let me explain how the engine in your car works and how it compares. Okay, so your car probably has a 4-stroke internal combustion engine, and a Formula One car does too, which means there's a cylinder, and inside there's a piston that goes down, up, in 4 strokes. In the first one, air and fuel rush into the chamber. Then they get compressed and the pressure builds. Then a spark ignites the mix and it explodes, shoving the piston down and turning a set of gears, generating mechanical movement that turns the wheels of the car. Then the piston lifts back up and pushes the remaining gas out. That whole process happens inside one cylinder, and there are 6 of them in a V shape, which is why it's called a V6 engine. Your car might have anywhere from 4 to 8, depending on what you drive. But one big difference between your car and a Formula One car is the maximum number of cycles that down, up each engine can complete per minute. Your car, about 6,000. A Formula One car, over 15,000. That contributes to more power to go faster. Plus, these cars combine a bunch of other technologies to get a little bit more oomph, like a turbocharger, which compresses air before it enters the cylinder, so it packs more punch when it's then lit on fire. And a motor and battery system that repurposes energy from the brakes and exhaust. The whole thing altogether is the powertrain of a modern Formula One car. It's a great example of why Formula One cars actually matter for people like you and me. It's not that this tech is brand new, it's that it's combined and tweaked and perfected by hundreds of smart people with millions of dollars to make it better. And those changes help inspire better car tech for all of us. The engines that they're building here are based on rules for 2026, which will use less fuel and more electricity, and therefore make a slightly different sound.
Okay, so this video is useful in more ways than one, because I can honestly tell you I had no idea what a car engine was doing. The extent of my car knowledge is changing a tire, adding some power steering fluid, and that's about it. To be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure I understood that. I'll have to watch it again after this.
Got a sneak peek.
Can you hear that? So that's the new engine running?
Correct, yeah.
Are we allowed to?
You're allowed to hear it. You're not allowed to see it.
Just running by, ooh.
What did that noise change mean?
So it really just revved up the speed, basically, and it's now going into this automated power curve. You can hear it's coming down in speed. So with every single speed, we take a measurement, next speed, measurement, next speed, measurement.
So they're testing it at different speeds, they're running power curves to see how it performs.
And at that time, always wide open throttle, which means everything we have, right?
Now that we've seen how they build these cars, it's time to see where they race them. And that means that we need to go to Bahrain.
Her excitement is palpable.
We're here. Here we go. Hi. No, I am not allowed to video any of this.
Turn one away, so you're a couple of kilometres away.
Does this ever get old? 20 years in? So
every day is a learning day. Every day is different.
I can't believe I'm here.
This is the new car, the RB20. And you might recognize these guys. Their job is to take the incredible cars that hundreds of people just built and speed them up over 200 miles an hour, facing forces sometimes greater than 5 times normal gravity, fighting off competitors to bring their team over the finish line first. These drivers are legends. Max Verstappen has been dominating Formula One recently. Remember those Red Bull win records? Here's just Max's wins. Yeah.
What does it feel like to drive a Formula One car?
Imagine sitting in a roller coaster and it basically just shoots off, but then like 5 to 10 times worse, while having a steering wheel in your hands with all the buttons. Back in the day when my dad was in F1 when I was a little baby, basically, I sat in it and it's very cute, the pictures, but the very first time that I sat in the car and I was gonna drive it myself, I was a little bit nervous. Even I, to this day, sometimes when I do that, I get this like, it shoots off. You have this kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I still have that in an F1 car sometimes.
I just pictured that, how it feels when your heart just drops into your stomach.
And for these cars, since no 2 drivers are the same, no 2 Formula One cars are quite the same either, even for the same team.
They have a whole book of measurements for myself, from Max, so they know exactly my seat position, my pedal position, my steering position.
The seat is very important. It's a carbon seat. You're naturally in a very unnatural position.
I actually got to sit in what I think was your seat in the RB19 in the factory.
It's probably a bit wide.
Actually, it was kind of a good fit.
Did I just tell world champion Max Verstappen that our butts are the same size? Anyway, here's what their steering wheel looks like. And here's one of the engineers who helped design it.
Would a steering wheel for each of the different teams look totally different?
Yeah, so they all look very different.
On every team's custom wheel, there are dozens of buttons and knobs and switches, all meant to optimize the engine and the tires and the brakes and much more in every possible scenario, all while the driver is driving.
It looks like a video game controller to me.
The drivers memorize all the buttons so they can do it without actually looking at the wheel. Sorry. No, we're good.
He might have to go do a pit stop.
If I run,
At any
there's
moment.
a pit stop.
It's so graceful.
That was a pit stop, at least once every race. Every car needs to exit the track and enter their pit box, where roughly 22 members of the pit crew swarm the car to quickly change the tires and other parts. A good pit stop is less than 2 seconds. They give out a trophy for fastest pit stop, and when we were at the Red Bull factory, we got to see theirs. These tires just came off the car, and they are hot. Like, hold on. Now it hurts. That's how hot. I got to try stacking these tires, and listen, they've got a really hard job.
It looks heavy.
Couple more tries.
It didn't fall.
The tire options are the same for each team. For each race, they all get a hard, medium, and soft option. Or if it's raining, 2 different types of wet tires. Your soft tires have the most grip, but they wear out the fastest. And your hard ones are on the opposite end of that spectrum. And medium is medium.
When they say my tires are done, what do they mean?
The drivers will feel when the grip is going off.
Choosing the right tires at the right time is a big part of a team's race strategy. During a race, you'll hear drivers talking to only one person, their race engineer. But that race engineer is also talking to a massive team of strategists, all trying to figure out the best way to win. Some of those strategists are at the track, but most of them are actually back at the factory, in a big room like this. It looks like NASA. And the people in this room aren't just thinking up plans, they're using supercomputers to run simulations about tons of possible outcomes.
It's millions even over the course of a race, and we run them on the Oracle Cloud. So
Millions?
Millions. Yeah.
Way more goes into this than I ever could have guessed.
Those simulations are taking into account weather and heat of the brakes and tire performance and everything every other driver is doing, and then feeding those simulations back to the track.
Their aim is always to try and win a race, so that's kind of thinking about what's the best thing for you to do, but also what might your competitors do, and so how might you need to therefore react to that.
This is all real time?
Yes, exactly. So we're constantly talking. The intercom on the pit wall is constantly lighting up. There's always somebody in one of your ears. So actually the headphones have dual, so you can hear one car in one ear, the other car in the other ear. So you're always hearing multiple conversations, trying to take them all in. It's basically like playing a board game. That's how I always think of it.
Most complicated board game
in
the world.
Mistakes.
A winning Formula One car isn't just about the tech inside that car. It's also about the tech behind every move that the car makes, every lap of the race. But the thing I think is so cool is that even with all of those strategists and supercomputers and simulations, at the end of the day, it still comes down to human skill.
It's hard sometimes to focus, you know, because you have always someone on your ear asking you questions, and you are just trying to focus as much as possible. But you have to have that capacity, you know.
The video's over a year old. I don't think he's with Red Bull anymore.
Everything that we've talked about, from design to build to paint to simulation to test, it's not just happening once. A Formula One car is never done. A team is constantly learning and changing and rebuilding between every single race, over and over and over again.
In the end, one of the things that strikes me most about Formula One and Formula One cars is that they're so much like a Lego set. It really has to be all of the individual, perfectly formed pieces coming together to make a whole thing. This is a theme I've noticed with a lot of my episodes of Huge If True. Technology has always been a story of human ingenuity, but more and more, it's also the story of human collaboration. I think that's really the story of a Formula One car, and the story of so much of the technology that we all enjoy. I think there's something really magical about a team of engineers and designers and strategists and athletes and all of these people coming together to build something that gets better and better and better every single time. I find a lot of hope in that. If we can build cars like these, what else can we do?
Very wholesome ending. So this was from Cleo Abrams. It looks like there are a few more seconds, so I'll see if she says anything at the end here.
I can't believe this is real life. One of the things that I've been keeping in mind is that most of the people that work on these cars won't actually get to go see a race, at least not with their team, because there's a limited number of people that Formula One allows each team to bring to each race. And I know that the only reason that I get to do this is because you watch and subscribe to this show, and I'm feeling really grateful. I hope that these kinds of stories make you a little bit more optimistic about what we can build when we work together. So if you're enjoying this video and you want to help us go to more incredible places, subscribe and tell me in the comments where we should go. And we have some wild episodes coming up. I can't wait to show you.
I will subscribe. And I'm going to link the Cleo Abrams channel along with this video and the previous F1 video in the description for you to find. This one did not disappoint, so thank you to everyone who recommended it. It was literally exactly what I was looking for. Now if Netflix were to just make a documentary specifically on the pit crew, I'd be set. But the drivers are the front-facing, and I didn't realize just how many people are behind the curtain. And they're seemingly people from all over the world. Because I have an ex-neighbor and friend, he's from Spain, who works on the logistics side of Formula One. And I actually texted him right before hitting record to know what exactly it is that he does. And he responded with technician, ? But then explained that he sets up what goes into the paddock. So he builds things, moves things, and travels around the world going to races to do that. Which makes me think, how many people must be traveling with Formula One between the crew, the logistics, the drivers, the fans? It truly is a traveling production. Anyway, leave your thoughts. So there's no book recommendation today. I tried to think of one, but I couldn't come up with anything. And I couldn't think of a category for the music, so drop any music choice, of course, any genre, any language. I think the next Grand Prix is in Miami, so extra points if you come up with someone from Miami. I don't even know who's really living over there. Gloria Estefan? Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. I'm gonna start with something unrelated. Apero Spritz by Saib. He's from Casablanca, Morocco. I really want to go there. Just a random aside. But he makes a jazz electronic. This song screams summer to me. It's very calm. I use it as background music. But it also leans on the house side. So if you like house music, you should try it. And next, Kruder and Dorfmeister, who I've been listening to on repeat the last few days. This is a group that I remember about once a year. I binge their album K&D Sessions. Forget and then do it all again the next year. They're from Austria. And their music also falls under the electronic umbrella, although they make more drum and bass. And then lastly, I want to switch the genre. Earlier today, I was listening to Cypress Hill, Dr. Green Thumb. The real ones know. They're from the 90s, although from what I understand, they are still together. And I'd call this music West Coast hip-hop, maybe with an old school subgenre. And that's it. So leave your music choices. Thank you for watching with me. I'll see you next time.